Of all the books I read last year, one of the series that stood out was the Lightbringer series by Brent Weeks. This one was absolutely phenomenal. It's something I'd recommend to literally anyone who enjoys fantasy, especially kind of the high fantasy, epic fantasy kind of subgenres. Before we start talking about this, make sure the usual stuff of liking and subscribing. And if you've read the series, let me know down in the comment section down below. I'd love to hear what you guys think of it. So I'm going to start off by talking about a few bits about the books and the series in general. And let's start off with one of the most prominent things, which is the magic system. This one is based in colour, and it sounds really weird from a outsider point of view, but I'll explain how it works. Each colour, you've got red, orange, yellow, green, blue. I think that's all of them. Each one has a different property. For example, red is more flammable, and you basically just use the magic to create these materials, these coloured substances. And most people can only use 1, 2, or 3. And that's kind of, obviously, using 3 is more rare. The main character is called the Black Prism, which if you didn't get how this works already, Prism can use light, split it into the colours, and you can use all of them. And that's the kind of main gist of how that works. I feel like this is a very interesting concept for magic, especially in some of the like modern fantasy, and it makes for some great scenes where this is utilized in such interesting and exciting ways that are just amazing. I don't really know how to describe it without giving away some of the stuff, but it's definitely worth a read. If we switch to talk about the kind of genre and tone of the books, this one's a little bit more grim dark than what I'd normally go for. As I've mentioned previously, I'm not a big fan of grim dark, just because I feel like it's goes a bit too far for me. I understand people like this kind of stuff, but I'm not a big fan of it. But saying that, I'm going to contradict myself because I really enjoyed this one, especially the kind of tone that this one had. At first, I was a bit like unsure because, like I said, not a big fan of that kind of tone and that kind of genre, but I really enjoyed it. It doesn't go too far. It's not. I would place it like if you wanted to know what kind of range this was, like an R rating instead of like say an R rating. In the UK, we'd say a 15 instead of an 18. If you get what I mean there. But it does still have some amazing characters, which I'm going to talk about in a second, and also the themes of this book and the series as a whole is very good as well. Let's talk about the characters. You've got the main central point, Gavin Garl, who is absolutely he's brilliant. He's such like a clever character, and it's written really well. But he's morally grey in this, that quite a lot of the stuff he does is for his own reasonings and like his own gain, but like selfless in a way. But they kind of seem very selfish. And not only that, but he's just extremely powerful, and it's a great way to kind of show flaws and make a character still like really in depth, even though this person is like one of the most powerful people. You've also got Kip, who is introduced really early on. No spoilers here, but he is very good. At first, I wasn't a big fan of him, but then he changes to become one of my favourites. And I definitely enjoyed reading him, especially in the latter half of the series. Next, you've got Karis. She's like one of the like strongest characters in here, and she goes on to be absolutely amazing. And then finally, we've got Andros. Andros is the conniving father to Gavin, who, like, I thought Gavin was written well in terms of how he's clever and he's always seems to be planning 5 steps ahead. Andros is even further than that. And I feel like sometimes these characters can get a bit too much, kind of become so much like clever or like intelligent in a way that they kind of lose the kind of humanity, and they makes them less humane in a way. I don't know how to describe it there, but I think Andros has done really well. He's one of my favourite characters that I love to hate. In terms of the plot of the series, I'm not going to go into too much because I don't want to spoil it for you guys, because I do really recommend getting into these books and reading them. There's only 5, and they're not incredibly long. The last one's big chunk longer, but other than that, the rest are fairly alright for epic fantasy. If you're used to that stuff, you'll be fine with these. But yeah, the plot. This is one of the things that I had the most kind of fun with in a way, because it seemed completely realised from the first book. There was no shoehorning in extra pieces to kind of continue the plot further. It was all planned out. Everything seemed to play a part, and it was just crafted in such a way that I could see I could see just further than where I needed to see, just far enough. And then every time you get further and further through the story, and it would just open up, and there's not really any lulls. It's all just continuing onwards, and you just continue reading it. I sped through the first few books. It's amazing, and the plot is one of the best things in this book, in my opinion, but as the other stuff I mentioned as well there. Last but not least, we've got to talk about the world building. This is also this kind of similar to the plot, how it's already so realized. It's great and extremely interesting. There's loads of different kind of moving parts to this, and it seems like a functioning world, which is weird to say that, but quite a lot of books I've read have had parts of a world. They feel quite isolated. They have their own central piece, and that they stick within that, and there seems to be very limited outside factors that play a part. But this one is very well done, and can understand, and everything is just so interesting. So I don't want to say much about spoilers, but yeah, magic system is amazing. It's really interesting and well done. The genre is not what I'd normally go for, but in this it works really, really well. There's some amazing characters in this, and the character arcs, especially with some of the main characters I've just pointed out, are phenomenal. And the plot itself is always kind of changing, but it works and it makes sense with the narrative and the characters and all of that. And the world building is something that is also very well done, and everything seems well realized, and it seems that the author knew what he was doing when he wrote these books, and that's what makes these so fun and enjoyable. If you'd like to watch another video by me, leave one up either side of me. I'll see you on the next one.